Welcome to the bold analysis. Miguna is coming back in the country in October. And I can tell you that there are two different schools of thought on his comeback. While William Ruto government and his handlers believe that they are the reason behind Miguna's comeback, I can tell you without mincing my words that Miguna will not credit William Ruto for his comeback, but will hold on the ideology that Ruto facilitated his comeback by obeying the court orders. And so this is the truth. There are enough court orders that were issued on by the High Court between 2017 to 2022 after that forceful deportation for Miguna to be produced back in the country, rather to facilitate the return of Miguna. But they had not been obeyed because of what I can say, the politics of managing the situation. So William Ruto did not need magical science. He just needed to obey the court orders. And when those court orders are obeyed, there is no any other hurdle that could be on the way for Nyanyando. The former Nairobi gubernatorial aspirant is back. And when he's back, there is something that I want to tell you guys. His story is written and was facilitated by, I want to challenge the people that say that Raila Odinga did not negotiate for the return of Miguna at the handshake stage, even though the person that administered that oath was Miguna. So this is it. Something you have to agree is Miguna is a very difficult person to manage. And even after flying out of the country, after he was deported out of the country, from the minute he went through all that, he was on a spree of attacking and abusing everyone and anyone and anything that did not support him, including the current president, William Ruto. He called the retired president, Uhuru Kenyatta, despot and all sorts of names. In fact, I am persuaded to believe that one of the reasons why the retired president decided to deactivate his Twitter is because of Miguna. You can challenge me. Of course, there were the saga from Namibia where someone shared misinformation in his Twitter that he had not approved, and he was a little bit irritated. But the kind of attacks that they were receiving from Miguna made the third president even to exit social media. So, and even if Raila was to help him, from where he had already shown that Raila was weak, Raila did not help him, Raila did not want him. So kama umeshamdharau mtu, how was Raila again being in a position to facilitate his comeback? And I'm not defending, because Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta could be in a position to negotiate for the return of Miguna, or rather to facilitate. And the mere fact that Davis Churchill, the chief of staff in the executive office of the president, facilitated the passport process and the passport was delivered to Miguna was just for optics. And the man is defending now a bit and is playing the cold cards because he's out. From the moment he will arrive in this country, and after just conducting, he's also a person that attracts, he's a person of interest. Media language speaks of a person of interest. Immediately he lands here, he will be a person of interest. media, local media, international media, the civil societies, and all that. They will be, of course, they would want to document his story, and I can tell you that when he comes here, by the time he will conduct 5 interviews, already you will see the fallout between him and the government. Of course, I know his first front is call for justice and the court orders that were issued to be obeyed so that he could be compensated on his stuff that were destroyed and all that. And of course, on legal grounds, some of which are validly supposed to be obeyed, or maybe are going to be obeyed. He's picked wars with Matiang'i, Kialangwa, and all that, and there is just a lot. I'm telling you, when Miguna comes back, it will be very chaotic. It will be very chaotic for some people in this country, but that is because of his nature. So, the point of difference, the point of the fallout between the government, or rather between William Ruto and Miguna, is because Miguna will not credit Kenya Kwanza government for his return. And that fallout is coming. I'm saying because one thing that keeps people worried is he's a symbol of division and anger. I don't know that is real personality, but he seems to spit a lot of division and a lot of anger. And of course, in sensational nature, that's why media finds him attractive for the numbers. And you know, media is out for the numbers, covering it with things like objectiveness, but is out for the numbers. So what one thing I want to tell you, I'm not a prophet of doom, is going to be here in October. But by December, not by the end of December, we are in this country. You just hear for yourself. This is because even before coming back, there are 2 tweets that I have seen from him. I want you to look at these tweets, and you'll just make your own judgment on what I'm speaking about. He was reacting to 3 days ago to a tweet, or rather a circular by the Public Service Commission, calling for people interested to apply for the positions of chief administrative secretaries. These are positions that even I think that were introduced by President Uhuru Kenyatta. But this is a tweet he shared. The positions of county commissioners, assistant county commissioners, chiefs, assistant chiefs, and cobwebs of the colonial provincial administration were banned in the Constitution of Kenya 2010. They must be retired together with those of chief administrative secretaries. So I don't want to look at it by the way. Kwani the position of county commissioners are not in the Constitution? Assistant chiefs, okay, what is Miguna saying? But my interest is on that they must be retired together with those of chief administrative secretaries. So here he is simply telling the president that he should not think of creating the positions of chief administrative secretaries, because these CS posts, to me, they're just posts to accommodate leaders. They're not really so much into expertise and working, but these are just created positions to make sure that many people can be absorbed. And I don't think it really translates. There are positions that translates to service delivery. The key machinery in different ministries are the permanent secretaries. So Miguna is telling William Ruto that don't create those positions. Just forget about those positions of chief administrative secretaries. What happens when he's here? Now, the latest one is this controversial statement by Rigathi Gachagua about allowing people to farm in the forest. And he replied to a tweet by Reuben Kigame. Reuben Kigame said, "Another bad stunt for the new government. There goes our forest at a time where we are fighting climate change. Please watch and help me say no to the grabbing of our forest land." So Miguna shared that, replied that way, say, "I agree. Rigathi must avoid these kinds of roadside declarations. Farming in forests is a bad idea." This one, he's doing it in Twitter. Tell me if regard is Janyanda was here and these statements are coming and he can speak in media, he's going to explode them. Now, one thing, and I want to appreciate, and one thing I want to explain is his fallout with the government will be on four grounds. Raila Odinga factor. Because he already have a personal difference with Raila. It has nothing to do with the interest of the Kenyan people. And we are coming from an election that there are those divisions. The people who support Raila, who voted for Raila, and the people who support the government this side. So when Miguna comes and seems to go after Raila and attack Raila, what will that mean? It will actually create frictions in the country, and the intelligence can even advise the president that, look here, this is not the man that you're supposed to associate with. Because that tide or that wave that he might want to create might turn against him. And instead of when he really thinks that he wants to use Ruto's presidency to give blow after blow to Raila, then Raila can even go his back and work with William Ruto for his sake. This is possible. And he will be pushed. And I'm not insinuating that Miguna will push Raila to work with Ruto, no. I'm simply saying that Raila Odinga can still get his ways through the government ranks and clip the wings of Miguna. And that would be the departure. Because one thing that Miguna would want is William Ruto to use William Ruto to help hit Raila one after the other. But if Raila shows intent that is not going to vie, then why would someone even go after him? The other second ground of this fallout is Janyanda will not take a comfortable position of freedom is here. He is here with a notion of I am coming to liberate. This liberation one is a very casual or a very faulty liberation of the Luo Nyanza. I don't know who Miguna wants to liberate from the Luo. I'm even wondering who are those people. And now is the deal coming over with Kidero. But when he's talking about liberation, William Ruto government is talking about freedom is here. So, for him to get that liberation, because that is his brand, even by the time he was administering that oath to Raila Odinga on 30th January in Uhuru Park, he knew very well that that was a mock swearing in. There was no way that mock swearing in was going to produce something fruitful for Raila. And he was ready to face that, because one thing he wanted, he actually wanted to make sure that he finishes Raila and takes over. That he was in it. So even the act of administering that oath, it was never on merit. Someone administered that oath so that he would face the consequences and play the card of a liberator. It worked so well. That's for truth, it worked so well. And for that to pursue, because that is the stand of Miguna. He cannot withstand working with the government. And for what benefit? Then, he's not that person who is a sycophantic leader and will always draw the parallels. When William Ruto says this, we'll always think about what about if it is done this way. He's not the sycophantic. He's not like, he's not Oscar Sudi. He cannot be like Babu Owino. He cannot be like Junet, who says that when Baba says left. He's not that kind of a person. So you cannot bank on him. He will support you when you are right, and when you are wrong, you will be wrong. I also feel like profiling other leaders in government or other government officials who might have mismanaged him might go to extreme. Maybe cases here and there. And at some point, the president, when these things were committed, William Ruto was in government. So while you push for things, you might push further until William Ruto questions start now asking, okay, if you're revisiting Miguna, why don't you revisit so and so? There have been these cases of such incidences. And so, I'm not a prophet of doom. Tell me, How long will it take for Miguna to work with William Ruto if they're going to work together for the first 1 week? That's the end of my bold. And kindly subscribe to our channel.